And I believe we are live
We're streaming live on Facebook right now.
right now. Hi, and welcome to Wellness Shots with Jewel. Today, I have a guest, Thomas Tadlock, with us. And I am super excited, especially during this time, to welcome you, Thomas, on this Wellness Shot.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, maybe we'll start with sharing a little bit about yourself.
Well, a lot of people know me because I'm the best-selling author of Miracle Metabolism, and a lot of people also know me because of my wife, Dr. Brooke Goldner. So she's the best-selling author of Goodbye Lupus and Goodbye Autoimmune Disease. And the background story is I was a personal trainer back in the day, and I was really good at getting people in really fit shape. And a long time ago, I met Brooke, and she was diagnosed with lupus and had been living with that for quite some time. So I married her very sick, and she had told me that she wasn't going to have a long time to live. And I told her, I want to be married. I want to marry her anyway, even if it's going to be a short life with her. I'd rather have that than a lifetime with anybody else. So we got married, and she said, well, listen, if I'm going to get married, I want to look as hot as I possibly can for our wedding. So I said, well, you married the right guy. And I knew how to do that. I worked with a lot of MTV stars that wanted to get in shape in a very short period of time. So I had kind of dialed my exercise and nutrition system down to be able to do that. Now, she was the first vegetarian I ever met. So I put her on my normal rapid fat loss plan and muscle building plan, but I got rid of all of the animal products. And so she was kind of a vegan during this process. And within about 90 days, she went from like a size 8, 10 down to a size 2 and looked the best she's ever looked. And what was really fascinating was when she got her blood work done to check up on this, how bad her lupus is, her tests showed negative. And it was an absolute miracle. It took us about 1.5 years to figure out that it was the nutrition that did it. But when we finally realized that was it, we started testing that on people, the same basic nutrition protocol that I put her on to get her really, really in good shape. And what was amazing was people with lupus that we were experimenting on with this diet, well, they were reversing their lupus and their autoimmune symptoms as well. And so that's when we decided to really go big with this. And we launched a few books and started training people at scale. And now we've helped completely reverse autoimmune disease in thousands of people worldwide. There's just thousands of people today that are alive today because of that. So now we've dedicated our lives to helping as many people reverse their inflammatory related diseases as we possibly can.
Very impressive. And now I'm wondering, during this COVID-19, what has been coming up for you?
Oh, this is COVID-19. I mean, you've got COVID-19 combined with the financial crisis that's happening right now. You've got a perfect storm of just the worst conditions economically, mentally, and physically that you could possibly ever imagine. And so we've got a lot of people that are just downright scared. I mean, we're in lockdown. You've got this virus that is just absolutely deadly for a lot of people. I mean, if you're one of the few lucky ones that can get COVID-19 and be asymptomatic, I mean, good on you. But my goodness, with the unbelievable transmission rate that COVID has, how easy it is to transmit it and get it and be infected by it, it's super scary. And a lot of people with autoimmune disease right now, I mean, we're not even talking about the ones that know about us or that understand that you can heal with food and nutrition. You've got a lot of people with autoimmune disease that are seriously suffering because a lot of the meds that they need are being eaten up by people that think that Plaquenil is going to be the cure for COVID-19. So they're suffering big time because they can't even get the simple meds that they need just to be able to sustain their life, so much thrive. So it's represented a huge problem. And on top of that, you got to look at the psychological stress that people are going through. I mean, let's face it, thousands of businesses have been going out of business, which means there have been even millions of layoffs now. I mean, look, over 26 to 28 million people now have filed for unemployment. I mean, people are in serious trouble right now. A lot of people are suffering big time. So if you're sick right now, if you're suffering from autoimmune disease or any sort of illness right now, I know for a fact you are severely impacted. This is really serious because that also makes you very susceptible to the worst form and the worst symptoms of the COVID-19 virus. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with. So people are seeking us for the answers. Brooke, my wife, Dr. Goldner, she's an expert in COVID-19. So she's been in the media constantly. She's been on every news station in Houston, in San Antonio, worldwide. People are constantly asking her what to do in times of crisis. So if you want to go a little bit in that, I'm happy to. But that's what's going on right now. People are scared. There's a lot of misinformation. People who are sick that have autoimmune disease, they are at serious risk health-wise. So they need to be as careful and take every precaution possible.
And what would those precautions be?
Okay. Step number one is avoid getting COVID. That's the number one biggest thing. If you've got autoimmune disease or if you're sick in any way, you do not want to contract this virus. This thing, if you are one of the unlucky ones that exhibit full symptoms when you get it, it's not fun. I have a really close friend in Los Angeles, California. He's a world-renowned speaker. We've shared the stage many times. He is fit, he is healthy, he is strong, and he got COVID-19, and he had to go to the hospital, and he had to be put on a respirator because he could not breathe on his own. And if it wasn't for that respirator, he'd be dead today. But luckily he made it through, but he's still recovering from that. There's going to be a lot of other people. There have been a lot of people that aren't that lucky. So number one, you got to avoid getting it, first of all. So heed the lockdown orders. I mean, if you can, don't go out. If you can, don't go around other people. 6 feet apart is not enough. I'd recommend standing 10, 20 feet apart. I mean, what if someone sneezes? Because you can contract it through the water particles that come out of your mouth. You know, simply breathing is enough to transmit the disease. You don't have to have a cough. You don't have to be symptomatic to be able to transmit it, which is another reason why this is so deadly and scary, that people can have it and transmit it without ever even knowing for another 5 to 14 days, or in some cases, if you're asymptomatic, ever. Super scary. So avoid it at all costs. Try to get delivery. Sanitize yourself regularly. Wash your hands. Use the 20-second rule. That means put the soap on your hands, leave it on, and keep working it for a good 20 seconds to destroy all the virus on it. And practice the best hygiene you possibly can. Avoid getting it at all costs. Second, whether you have it or not, you want to boost your immune system. You want to be as healthy as you possibly can. And nothing raises or increases the strength of your immune system better than our rapid recovery nutrition protocol. So let's talk about that really fast. It's super easy. We've got a community of tens of thousands of people all over the world who's doing it. We tell people, get a minimum of 8 to 10 or more cups of raw, fresh vegetables every single day. You can't beat the mineral, vitamin, nutrient content that raw vegetables have. There's just no other foods out there that have the density of nutrients in your body. So the key to fighting disease and inflammation is having a strong immune system. Your immune system only works when it's given all the raw materials that it needs. So the vegetables are giving you all the nutrients and raw materials that it needs to be as strong as possible. Get your water in. We know that when you're dehydrated, you can't be as healthy as you can be, and neither can your immune system. So get a minimum of 96 or more ounces of water every single day if you can. And then finally, let's not forget your omega-3s. We've found that if you have a minimum of about a half a cup, which is about a handful of chia seeds or flax seeds a day, you can optimally boost your immune system. Why? Because omega-3s are a very important, they are a very important raw material in the function and the creation of all the cells in your body. So the more you have, the better. Now, those are the nutritional aspects of things. what we're seeing now, which is unprecedented, is the incredibly high levels of stress that people are facing. I mean, fear is the number one factor here, right? I mean, you've got this deadly disease looming around and it's persistent everywhere. And then you've got like people getting laid off and the threat of your income and livelihood all at stake. This is creating a hugely stressful environment. So this is where self-care comes in. And we've never really talked about this in a very public or general forum before, because, you know, people mostly live their lives and they're trying to make a little extra money, add a little more happiness to their lives because they have the freedom to be able to do that. Now the rules have changed a little bit. It's you're not able to do it the same way before. So this is the time when you really got to take the effort that you need to, number one, center yourself every day, focus on what you have going for you, and try not to worry about the things that you're afraid of. Connect with people. Oh my gosh, people right now in self-isolation, that can be deadly in itself. It can lead to depression. What you want to do is reach out, use technology, use Zoom, use phone calls, use FaceTime meetings, use Skype Messenger, and just connect with people, laugh, tell jokes, tell story, catch up with each other, tell someone I love you, receive it back, play online, a lot of FaceTime based like board games people are playing right now. Be creative. I have seen people that I love, I've seen their faces more during this crisis than I have in real life, because every weekend we're getting together with a group of people that get on Zoom together. We play stupid little board games together and it's hysterical. We're seeing everybody's reaction. We're laughing together. We're catching up. We're telling jokes. I mean, in one sense, it's helped us be able to get closer to people that we haven't really been in touch with so much. You know, there's opportunities in every different change that there is. There's opportunities everywhere, but those are the basic ones. So number one, avoid COVID at all costs. Number two, get as healthy as you possibly can and do it with nutrition so your immune system is as strong as possible. Number three, get mentally healthy too. Make sure that you're focusing on gratitude and happiness and just taking information that's fearful, just take it as information. You create strategies around that. Because whatever you fear, there's a strategy, there's a solution to it. There's something to get through, but there's no productivity in worrying about it all the time.
Awesome. And what about, you are a personal trainer from the beginning. So now that all the gyms are closed, what can we do at home to stay active?
You know, exercise is going to be a big component. I'd say we know this. Exercise is probably one of the most effective but underutilized tools for beating depression. And it also works with things like anxiety too. It's important to physically work your body. So there has been a massive explosion in the success of online personal training. It's a big deal right now. Why? Because people are home. But here's the beauty, is that you don't have to have a gym. You don't have to have even weights or equipment to stay in shape. This is where yoga is having a massive surge. Same with Pilates. People doing a lot of floor-based exercises. Calisthenics is definitely the way to go. And there's no reason you can't go outside for exercise. You just got to stay away from people or where people are gathering. So every single day, my whole family, we have a ritual now. We do a sunset bike ride. We get on our bikes and we ride for about an hour. We take in all the sights, we breathe in the fresh air, and we're getting exercise by just riding cool little trails and going up and down these awesome streets. We're having a great time doing it. I'm also seeing people jogging outside. I'm seeing other people exercising. Join them, but don't be with them. Do that too. But as far as resources go for finding exercises, it's so easy. YouTube has never been a better resource now to find awesome workouts. Whether your goal is fat loss, you just type in HIIT workout, stands for high intensity interval training. You say HIIT workout at home, and you're going to find a countless number of follow along and do it yourself workouts that you can do. So you want to build muscle. Bodybuilding at home without weights would be what you type in YouTube. And guess what? You're going to find a countless number of videos that show you exactly how to do that. The good thing is a lot of you have plenty of body weight to be able to build muscle on if you needed to.
I had a question from one of my followers. She's an older person in her late 60s or early 70s with some joint pain. and she was asking about what exercise she can do at home since she lives in a building. She doesn't want to take risks to go take an elevator down. So for people who are older with joint pain, staying at home, is there anything you recommend the most that will be the
Sure.
most
There's going to be
effective?
two ways that I'm going to recommend this. So number one is realize that everybody's a little bit different. So when someone says I have joint pain, well, the question really is, well, what joint is hurting you? Where's the pain? What does the pain feel like? What movements can you or can't you do? So in general, what you got to do is figure out what are the movements that you can do that do not cause pain. And then you go all in on those movements. You create exercises, you add resistance, and you make those harder. But the problem is most people don't know how to do that on their own. So what you're going to do is you can either hire an online physical therapist or personal trainer to use video and watch you be able to move, and then they can kind of design a program for you. That would be my number one choice because that'll give you a customized program based on your real abilities. If you're looking at this from a very general and broad sense, then what you could do is you go on YouTube and you search isometric workouts. That's isometric. Isometric means without movement. So anybody who has painful joints doesn't mean you can't flex your muscles. What you're going to avoid is the movement and motion. So you can keep muscles strong in a different way. And you also burn and help calories and stay in better and maintain fitness with isometric movement. So this is where yoga really shines because every time you do a pose, you're actually doing an isometric exercise. And so find more isometric exercises. You can find isometric exercises that focus on your abs. In fact, you just type that in Google, isometric ab exercise. You can find isometric exercises that focuses on your arms and your legs. Some of those things may require equipment, some of them not. So for example, let's say you wanted to strengthen your legs with an isometric exercise, one without movement. There's an exercise called a wall sit where you literally push your back up against the wall, slide down a little bit, and then you just hold that there. After about 10, 20 seconds, your thighs should start burning. Well, guess what? That burning's good. That means you're exercising the legs and you've got the benefit of no movement happening, so you don't have to really worry about your joints. So there's lots of exercises you can do for all the different muscle groups that you want to train. So use the word isometric when you're searching for the areas of your body that you want to work out.
And I remember what came up for me is some people have pain in the knees or they overweight and they feel like they can't do much cardio. And I remember someone was recommending doing boxing, like just sitting and
just punch in the air?
Punch in the air because
getting out all your COVID frustration? Yeah, sure.
That also burns calories, right?
It sure does.
What would be for people who cannot like jump, run, or what would be a good exercise to burn calories?
Okay, so definitely, so what's important to burn calories is muscular activation. What I mean is whenever you flex a muscle, you're working it. It's engaged, and that is what expends calories, the type of calories that you want to eventually use to lose body fat from your body. So there's a lot of ways to do that. You can do cardio type of exercises, but if you have to avoid that, believe it or not, you can burn a lot of calories with isometric exercises. So one really effective way to do that is if you've ever heard of circuit training. So that's when you take one exercise, you do it for a little bit, and then you do another exercise, you do that for a little bit, and then you go to a third and a fourth and a fifth, and then you come right back around to the first exercise, and you just don't take a break in between each one. Well, there's no reason you couldn't do that with even isometric exercise. So this is good news for anybody who's suffering from a lot of joint pain, is you basically create a little list of about 5 or 6 isometric exercises. Again, these are with no movement at all, but they're different poses, so to speak. You spend about 30 to 60 seconds on one and then immediately change to the next and then the next and the next. And you do that round after round after round. I guarantee anybody who does that for, let's say 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour straight, you are going to be sweating buckets. You're going to have burned a ton of calories because you're activating all of those muscles. That's going to help you lose a lot of body fat.
Thank you. And another question is, what is the best exercise to strengthen our bones?
All resistance exercise helps strengthen our bones. So the way it works is you have to have a load. Now, sometimes the load can be your body weight, but it really depends on which bone you're talking about. So for example, if I'm like, everybody knows what a squat looks like. So a squat is primarily for your legs. That's where the load's going to be. But when you put a big heavy barbell, you put it on your back, what you're loading at that point, it's all the bones of your spine and your hips and your legs. Those bones are the actual physical structure that is holding up all of that weight. When the weight is pressing down on those bones, what it does, it forces the bones to flex just a little bit. And that little bit of flex signals the body. I'm just oversimplifying it, but I mean, there's a cascade of different things that happen, but it signals the body to say, hey, you know what? Let's take whatever extra nutritional calcium we can get and let's bolster up those bones, because we don't want to see it flexing like that. That makes us nervous. We don't want it to flex. So let's go ahead and bolster it up and make it even stronger. So next time it doesn't flex. That's how it kind of works. So strengthening bones can only happen when, number one, you're putting load on those specific bones. So let's say you're doing a plank. If you don't know what a plank is, it's that one where your body is straight, you're kind of floating it over the floor and you're on your elbows. Well, at that point, the only thing under load is this bone right here. This is your humerus bone, right? That's fine. So you've got a lot of weight on that humerus bone. So when you add good nutrition, which if you get 10 cups of raw green leafy vegetables every single day, you're going to have all of the compounds that you need, the calcium, the organic silica, all in there to be able to, for your body to say, okay, let's go ahead and make that bone stronger. So resistance exercise is going to be the key. Now, it could be barbells, it could be your body weight. You could use, believe it or not, exercise bands to create that demand. Again, the whole point is we're trying to put the load on the bones so the bones just do a little slight, just the tiniest little flex is all it takes for the body to signal, hey, it's time to make the bones stronger. So let's go ahead and do that.
Talking about plank, is it usually some people say 1 minute is enough and some people go for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, half an hour. What's your view on how long is a good time to do a plank?
So assuming your goal is to get stronger and you want to get a big result from it, the answer is you do as much as you can. But if you're getting to the point where you're holding a plank for 30 minutes, what that's telling us is you're way too strong for just doing a regular plank with your body weight. So typically, my general guideline is if you can do any exercise for more than a minute, it's time to progress. You need more resistance. You need to figure out how to make it harder. You need to put more weight on it so that you're basically limited to only being able to do it for about 15 to 45 seconds tops until your muscle just totally gives out and fails. But once you get over the minute, the productivity starts to really go down. So at that point, figure out ways to progress. And that's also an important thing. A lot of people, they find that they get in great shape in the beginning of a workout plan, and then after about the 3 or 4 week mark, their results kind of plateau. Primary reason is they've gotten too strong. If they don't increase weights or increase the challenge, your body has no reason to adapt or improve.
Interesting. Thank you. That's been very informative. I think we are almost at 20 minutes or a little bit over. So 8 to 10 cups of raw food, how to fit it into the day?
Well, first of all, it's actually not as bad as it sounds. It doesn't matter how you do it. You could do it in the form of huge salads. I mean, we have thousands of clients. They love to do the salad thing, which is totally fine. And then we have tens of thousands of people that love to do it in the form of a smoothie. They'll just take all 8 or 10 cups and they'll just jam it down into a smoothie. They'll fill whatever remaining space is left with delicious, sweet, frozen fruit. Fill it up with water, throw in some chia seeds or flax seeds, blend that up for 2 to 3 minutes, and then they'll just drink that down by the end of the day. And it's as simple as that.
So it's not as much as it seems to be, especially if you do it in a smoothie. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been laser focused on wellness shot on nutrition and exercise. Great information. I see people commenting that they love it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Stay healthy. Avoid COVID-19.
That's right.